After all these years, one of the scariest, most overwhelming, and honestly, one of the most unique villains in Marvel history has finally been brought to life in a cinematic project. Galactus, the Devourer of Worlds, an unstoppable cosmic force that wipes out entire planets without mercy, simply to feed on their energy. But the real question is, who is Galactus exactly? Or maybe the better question is, what is he? What kind of being needs to consume worlds just to survive? What powers does he actually have? And why does something this terrifying even exist in the Marvel Universe in the first place? In this video, we're breaking down all of it, from his origin to his true form, to his insane abilities, and the biggest cosmic battles he's ever fought. So let's start at the beginning. Galactus was created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, first appearing in Fantastic Four number 48, back in 1966. According to Stan Lee himself, they were tired of making regular villains. They didn't want another evil mastermind or another alien warlord. They wanted something bigger, something that felt almost god-level, but with one very important twist. Because Galactus isn't some evil cosmic god flying across the universe, destroying planets for fun. He doesn't act out of hate, cruelty, or revenge. Instead, he's something much stranger and far more fundamental. He's necessary, a built-in part of the universe's balance, almost like a cosmic function. And in order to stay alive, he needs energy. Energy that can only be taken from planets that contain life. Marvel explains his origin like this. Long before the current Marvel universe ever existed, there was another universe, a completely different reality that, for unknown reasons, was on the brink of total collapse. In that dying cosmos lived a scientist and explorer named Galan, from an advanced planet called Ta. When Galan realizes his universe is about to die, he gathers a team of scientists and pilots a ship toward the center of the cosmos, hoping they might discover some way to survive, some kind of answer, some kind of escape. But nothing goes according to plan. One by one, everyone on that mission dies, until Galan is the only one left alive. And then something happens that's almost impossible to explain. At the exact moment the universe collapses, Galan encounters a mysterious abstract entity known as the sentience of the universe, a being very similar to eternity in the current Marvel reality. The two merge, their essences combining, and inside a massive cosmic cocoon, they're carried forward into the newborn universe as the last surviving remnant of that ancient reality. The cocoon drifts silently through space for billions of years, dormant and forgotten, until one day a watcher discovers it. Curious, he frees whatever is inside, and when the cocoon finally opens, a gigantic being made of pure cosmic energy steps into existence, Galactus. Almost immediately, he devours an entire planet, absorbing enough energy to construct something enormous, his ship. A colossal world-sized vessel, larger than most planets themselves. Now here's something people always wonder. If Galactus is basically a god, why does he look like a giant human wearing purple and blue armor? The answer is surprisingly mind-bending. That isn't his true form. Not even close. His real body is something the human brain literally can't comprehend. A being made of raw cosmic particles and abstract energy. So our minds create a kind of visual filter, projecting something familiar that we can actually process. Every species experiences the same thing, perceiving Galactus in a form that resembles themselves. And that iconic purple and blue armor isn't just for style or protection, it's containment. It regulates and suppresses the ridiculous amount of energy inside him. Because if that power were ever released without control, Galactus wouldn't just destroy planets. He could potentially wipe out the entire universe. Despite what you might assume, Galactus wasn't always willing to consume living worlds. In the beginning, he tried feeding only on lifeless planets because he felt guilty about killing living beings. But eventually, he realized two harsh truths. First, his survival depends on life energy. And second, his cosmic role, preserving universal balance, has to come before personal morality. So he adapted. To locate suitable planets more efficiently, he began transforming other beings using his own power, creating the Heralds of Galactus.
I herald Galactus.
Messengers and scouts from different races who travel ahead of him searching for energy-rich worlds. Over time, he's had dozens of heralds, but the most famous one by far is the Silver Surfer. Of course, when we talk about a being that literally devours planets, we're dealing with something massive. But how big is Galactus exactly? The crazy part is that his size isn't fixed. He can change it whenever he wants. Sometimes he appears only 8 or 9 meters tall, while other times he grows to completely absurd scales. So huge that his head alone can be twice the diameter of Jupiter, with a height stretching beyond 2 million kilometers. At that scale, he doesn't even need to attack. Just existing near a solar system could completely destabilize its gravitational balance. And that's only his size. His powers are on an entirely different level. Fueled by the energy of the planets he consumes, Galactus can reshape matter at the most fundamental level, create matter from nothing, generate pure cosmic energy, travel between dimensions, teleport across the universe, read minds, control minds, rebuild minds, resurrect the dead, or even create life from scratch. And honestly, that's still just a fraction of what this infinite giant is capable of. But Galactus doesn't rely on raw power alone. He's also built an entire arsenal of advanced cosmic technology. When he eats a planet, for example, he doesn't simply tear it apart. He uses devices called elemental converters, machines that transform an entire planet's mass and matter into pure energy so he can absorb it efficiently. And among all his tools, one stands above everything else, more dangerous than anything he or almost anyone else has ever used. You could argue it's the most terrifying weapon in the entire Marvel universe, the ultimate nullifier. This device is essentially a universal delete button. It doesn't just destroy things, it erases them from existence. And it can even remove an entire timeline so completely that it's as if it never existed at all. It's so risky that only a handful of beings can even use it safely. And even Galactus himself only resorts to it in truly critical situations, when there's absolutely no other option. Over the years, Galactus has clashed with some of the most powerful entities in Marvel history, from Odin, the ruler of Asgard, to cosmic forces like the Phoenix Force. In one storyline, he directly confronts the Phoenix, and if Jean Grey hadn't intervened, he likely would have absorbed the entire Phoenix Force, something that could have destroyed that timeline, or at the very least caused irreversible damage. In another story, Galactus enters Mephisto's realm, a dimension where Mephisto is at maximum power. Yet even there, the fight doesn't last long. Mephisto loses badly, and literally ends up begging Galactus not to devour his entire domain. And in one of the wildest Marvel stories ever told, Galactus faces the Mad Celestials. Celestials from a parallel reality who merge together into a single unstoppable entity specifically to kill him and break the balance of that timeline. They actually succeed at first, until Franklin Richards, the son of Mr. Fantastic and Susan Storm, a being who is basically God level himself, steps in, saves Galactus, and together the two of them defeat the Mad Celestials. Even crazier, after saving him, Franklin turns Galactus into his own herald, which really puts into perspective just how absurd Franklin's power level truly is. So in the end, Galactus isn't just another comic book villain, and he's definitely not evil in the traditional sense. He's a concept, the embodiment of balance, a bridge between life and death, between creation and destruction. If he didn't exist, the entire structure of reality itself could collapse. From the outside, he might look like a terrifying monster, and what he does is undeniably horrifying. But in Marvel's cold, ruthless, perfectly structured universe, Galactus has a purpose. And that purpose isn't just survival, it's maintaining the very framework of existence itself.